Hi everyone, my name's Joanne Thomas and I'm the head of content for Coloro, which is WGSN's sister brand, and we are innovators in the colour space. So welcome to today's session all around conscious creativity and also the Spring/Summer 23 key colours that are going to make the biggest impact globally. So many of you in the audience today might not know who we are at Coloro. So we really allow our clients to think differently about colour. And one aspect of that is the ongoing developments in the colour space, which we're going to talk to more today. So colour is a truly universal language and the most powerful tool in design. It sits across all industries and it has the greatest impact on our purchase decisions. And with a really turbulent retail landscape, getting colour right has never been more important. So on screen, you can see what the Coloro product range looks like. So we have a really beautifully designed system that's backed by a technically sound approach that gives you the freedom to create and execute colour with a total confidence. So we have 3,500 colours to choose from, laid out in a really logical and intuitive way, which just really makes your design workflow and colour selection truly seamless. And after being in the market now for over 4 years, we feel like we're helping brands in 4 main areas when it comes to colour. So the first one is get colour right. So we really know how crucial this is. It impacts everything from the bottom line up. We really help you select the right colours, validated by trend expertise, and then we help you achieve these colours the first time around. Secondly is to cut on costs. So of course, this is what everyone is looking to do now more than ever. So you can save immediately on our colour standards and development costs. Then thirdly is to work with ease. So you can really lean on our responsive technical support team and customer service team for resolutions in real time. And then the fourth one, which we're going to dig into a bit more today, is to create conscious colour. So you can reduce lab dips, cut down on waste, and take advantage of our achievability data to really inform your colour selections. But jumping back into the trend side. So as the world really emerges from the disruption and the constraints of the pandemic, colour has a really important role to play. So consumers are going to be managing multiple emotional states after long periods of restriction and uncertainty. And this is really going to drive the need for versatile and optimistic shades that serve as a symbol of self-expression and balance. For eyewear categories, the colours are really defined by 2 main characteristics. So the first sees this continuation of classic restorative colours defined by wholesome, natural tones that link to longevity and the need for organic colour sources. Then the second focus is definitely on these more joyful, high-energy brights, these dopamine brights, that definitely align with the mood of hope and optimism. So what do we actually mean when we talk about conscious colour? So in the last century, our engagement with environmental issues and the need for and desirability of eco-colours, but our processes are still slightly out of step. So materials don't actually need us to colour them. In a circular economy where the planet is our ultimate customer, we must take colour decisions seriously and consider it as the aesthetic and the functional enhancements of the colour that it brings the material justifies the environmental cost. So to really achieve circularity within colour, we need to connect and resolve every part of the manufacturing process, beginning with colour. So in essence, palettes must move towards regenerative circular future in which colours, materials, and finishes all contribute positively to our ecosystem. And so designers have been innovating how we can reframe colour with an environmentally friendly output. So over the next few slides, we'll explore different innovators across colour with a conscience, including examples from the eyewear industry. So we'll be looking at reframing waste, colour by nature, and salvaged colour. So first of all, reframing waste. So waste is not so much a material problem as it is a psychological one. So waste connotation can prevent us from seeing beyond the dirty, the rejected, and the overwhelming to the accessible, the abundant, and apt. So the visible incorporation of colored waste is actually a really intelligent way to spark debate and generate excitement about the prismatic potential of the things that we throw away. So waste stream materials can be both upcycled and they can be downcycled as companies and consumers focus on the life cycle of their products. And this will become an increasingly important direction that brings with it a wealth of color opportunities. So here on screen, we have Supernova's and Dutch design studio Odd Matter, who have reclaimed plastic into stackable furniture. And then we have Off the Streets, who have rethought discarded chewing gum, and they've upcycled the waste into skateboard wheels with a really beautiful marbled finish. Then Indian designer Sachi Tungare wanted to address the most commonly littered item in the world, which is, of course, cigarette butts. So with 4.5 trillion of them discarded every single year, the designer collected 5 kilograms of cigarette butts by hand to create her collection of multicolored bowls and vases. So this is actually presented as part of the Rethinking Plastic program at the Dutch Design Week, and the series consists of 10 different objects, each made from the cellulose acetate of 300 cigarette filters. So the project really reframes the idea of waste into these beautiful new perspectives. And by welcoming pre-existing color as a design participant, companies like GoMe make space for nuance, diversity, and serendipity, providing templates for transitional color relationships. So GoMe's portable devices are made from plastic bags, wraps, and battery cases sorted by color and then mold injected to create these marbled effects unique to every single product. Then we also have Smile Plastic, who redirects ocean waste from the coastlines directly into its products. And they have collaborated with a wide range of artists and product designers to create everyday beautiful objects from ocean waste. Then across eyewear, so Brazilian label Zerezes has introduced recycled plastics to advance design innovation for the eyewear category. So it's made from 35 discarded plastic straws. Its hexagonal glasses are notably pink in color, which is actually the fusion between the straw's white background and then the classic red stripe. And Canadian-based fellow Earthlings show how much spectrum you can gain from discarded waste, so using recycled acetate for their marbled effect lenses. And in the next few years, the viability and the urgency of incorporating waste into commercial design will increase significantly. So another direction that we're seeing is really upticking is upcycling. So creative customization drive this design ethos, which reevaluates junk as art. So in women's wear, Kevin Germiner creates bold, couture-esque designs from upcycled beads from jewelry industry that were not actually fit for production, so they would otherwise have just ended up in landfill. And then we also have Zimbabwean artist Mofa Taka Diwa, who makes pieces from repurposed waste, including spray can canisters, perfume bottles, keyboards, pegs, bottle tops, and toothpaste tubes. And this sentiment is also really taking off across eyewear as well. So fellow Earthlings have recently collaborated with Memoir Studio, who utilize fragments of everyday life into desirable products such as phone cases, mirrors, and vases. So their sunglasses collaboration shows how objects can be interpreted into a category for more of a contemporary direction. Then elsewhere, we have B Diddy, who have teamed up with Be Happy Studio, and they create jewelry made from vintage and reclaimed beads. So the collaboration really taps into the growing demand for adaptable products. The beaded chain is designed to work as a necklace, a wraparound bracelet, and then also a sunglass chain. So next up, let's look at color derived from nature and natural resources. So the combined traumas of the climate crisis and coronavirus pandemic have really accelerated our rediscovery and reevaluation of locality. So designers are embracing their local surroundings too, drawing on resources and inspiration close at hand and derived from nature to create new spectrums of sustainable color. So different outcomes will emerge from different environments, resulting in a proliferation of products that are rich in nuance and narrative. And by really harvesting regional color, whether foraged, grown, or salvaged, designers can really positively shape perceptions around land and landscape. So Mexican product designer Moses Hernandez replaced toxic synthetic paints with a pre-Hispanic dye that's made from insects to create his grana chairs. So the simple maplewood seats gets its color from being immersed in hot water and a pigment that's actually made from dried bugs. So this is a technique that was actually used to dye fabrics in Mexico for thousands of years. Then similarly, Atelier Lumiere focuses on transforming unassuming natural materials from their local landscapes into a new purpose. So their ongoing project, Pine Skins, is a versatile leather-like material that's made from the inner bark of pine trees, which is a byproduct of the tree cutting industry. So it ranges from these earthy browns to pinks and deep terracotta colors, really showing you the wealth of color that is available in nature. And algae is another really interesting one that's being utilized across the industry too, providing a more sustainable alternative to the color black. So more often than not, every black thing you own is likely to contain a carbon black. And this is actually a pigment that's derived from petroleum. And the way that carbon black is made isn't very sustainable. So vast tracts of land are usually stripped of all life to extract this really heavy petroleum, while the production process actually creates significant greenhouse gases. So apparel company Volbak are on a mission to reinvent the way in which the color itself is made. So they have devised the first t-shirt that's made with black algae. And the beauty is you don't actually have to dig up the earth to find black algae. It grows in ponds just using sunlight and carbon dioxide. And algae and its color shifting properties can really form a solution in itself to the plastic alternatives in apparel and product design. So fashion designer Philip Lim has teamed up with industrial designer Charlotte McCurdy to create a petroleum-free dress covered in bioplastic sequins. And sequins themselves have been causing quite a stir in the industry thanks to their plastic properties that is required for that high shine effect. So Alyssa Bruno's iridescent sequins are actually made from a bioplastic based on the cellulose extracted from trees. The cellulose's crystalline form refracts light and makes the sequins naturally shimmery without the need for a chemical treatment. So now looking at salvaged color. So repurposing waste streams is a crucial step in moving towards a circular economy where materials are constantly reused and no elements are wasted. So Design at Studio Playful have created a set of sustainable crayons made entirely from Japanese wood, which was really designed to celebrate the unseen colors in Japan's trees. So it's available in a variety of hues, from cedar to cypress to walnut and oak. The project aims to celebrate the natural pigments found in the wood. And a number of designers have turned to the byproducts of the food and drink industry in particular, as these offer a treasure trove of natural materials and colors. So every year, a huge amount of food is wasted, and designers and industry experts are starting to see food waste as an untapped source of natural dye pigments. So vegetables, fruits, and nuts are an excellent source of natural color, and food waste from onion skins to walnut shells and avocado stones is processed into dyes and pigments. So to the left there, we can see Paula Nerlich's innovative coca composite, which is made as a surplus material from local industrial chocolate production. And then on the right, we have shell homage, and this is made from nut and fruit shells, and it's a bioplastic that can vary in opacity, and it can be used across ceramics and also across the product design industry. Then we have designer Alice Potts, who's combined food waste with flowers from London parks to create a series of bioplastic face shields. So she made the face shields, which she claims are completely biodegradable, from food waste collected in London as an alternative to the many items of PPE that are made from single-use plastic. So the color and the exact structure of each shield is dependent on the food it is made from and the flowers it is then dyed with. So every color is completely seasonal, depending on what the flowers are blooming and what vegetables and fruits are growing and what earth it is in and around in London. And natural wood, bamboo, and cork eyewear frames are increasingly emerging source in the eyewear market, offering alternative sustainable choices for customers. And if harvested and managed responsibly, they can actually offer a lower impact option to the oil-based plastics used today. And they're available in a lot of attractive colors and grains. Wood comes from a variety of sources, from certified forests and processed ply to waste stream baseball bats and skateboards. So in its natural state, it comes with little processing and is durable, hypoallergenic, and biodegradable. However, trees can take many years to mature. So faster growing bamboo is also another choice, as it's strong, it's light, it's moisture resistant, and it's floatable. And finally, cork, requiring only the bark from trees to be extracted, has a low impact on forestry. And it's biodegradable, it's reusable, it's insulating, and again, it has water-resistant properties. In fact, plants and food waste are making their way into more everyday products, and if harvested and managed correctly, these natural materials can offer a low-impact option. So from hemp, flax, rice, and straw to coffee, there's an appetite in the industry to really experiment with agriculture and food waste. So the result is a range of natural, plant-based tones that are core colors for the eyewear market. So many of you will be familiar with Oshi, who are committed to sustainability with plant-based source materials, low-waste packaging, and CO2-free production. The Ukrainian label's innovative frames mix the use of coffee grounds with plant-based oils to achieve a really smooth texture, a subtle coffee aroma also alongside this gender-inclusive brown hue. And many optical frames are also made of metal, which comes with mining and extraction impacts on the environment, including land erosion and contamination, as well as this depletion of our precious natural resources. So Karun, meaning to be nature, is a Patagonia-based brand that recycles old fishing rope, nylon, old metal, reclaimed or fallen wood, and other salvage waste into stylish and sustainable eyewear. And their colors actually vary depending on the salvaged material, making each product beautifully unique in its own right. And within the color world, we're seeing a lot of exploratory nuances and even types of color that are emerging that go beyond the traditional dyes and conventional pigments to structural color, nanoscale color, and color that actually responds to its environment. So the average dyeing process can actually take up to 5 washes and require really high temperatures to then create the color. While synthetic dyes can be made often from polluting chemicals, they're not the only culprit. So natural dyes often require some sort of chemical process to fix the dye in place, to stop it from fading and changing over time. So the benefits of bacterial pigments are clear. Unlike natural dyes ingredients, they are not seasonal, they do not need to be harvested, a minimal amount of carbon is used, there's no wastewater generated, and no additives are required. The color is, however, dependent on the type of bacteria. So far, we've got a range of colors from blues and purples to reds and oranges have been achieved. So on screen here, we can see Puma collaborated with a brand called Living Color to create a collection called Design to Fade. And these garments were meant to change and adapt over time as the person wore them. And the idea is it's to flip how we think about our product life cycles. So the person could return the garment to be re-biodyed. So you begin to become more attached to this product. And then H&M, on a more commercial route, brought innovation stories into their stores, and this was dyed using DNA processes with bacteria. And they really wanted to open up the conversation of bacterial dyes within the garment industry. And then a couple more examples here is Pigments of the Future, which is a bacterial dye project showcasing the capacity of microbial color to create rich, bright colors with the potential to actually supersede the synthetic colors we use today. Then, known for their colorful leisure wear, Pangaya's also collaborated with Colori Fix to replicate the DNA codes found in nature. And it used microbes to create colors with no harmful chemicals, no bulk supply chain, and less water energy used. So now, after looking at that big macro trend that is really driving trend colors we're seeing season after season, so we're really changing our approach to looking at colors with longevity and then what seasonal colors can fine-tune along these. So we're going to look at the key colors for Spring/Summer 23 with some actionable palettes built for the eyewear market. And first of all, just a little video that is going to introduce each of our 5 key colors. Okay, I don't think that's going to play, so I will skip that one. So looking at the Spring/Summer 23 season, so our Spring/Summer 23 colors connect to a world still waking up and adjusting after a long period of restriction and uncertainty. So consumers are going to be managing multiple emotional states, and the colors they choose will reflect this. So as people begin to find their feet, colors will connect to them with feelings of optimism and hope, but they also will feel stable and balanced. So organic color sources will remain important as we head into 2023. Consumers will connect to the romance of the countryside and nature, and will be drawn to wholesome and natural tones. They'll also be seeking low-impact and circular sources of color derived from plant and food waste. Also, saturated tones will return, aligning with this mood of hope and optimism. So the metaverse is expanding our virtual worlds, enabling new forms of self-expression, and color will play a really central role here. So expect hues that are transformative, making an impact both digitally and physically. So our first key color is Digital Lavender, and this is our color of the year for 2023. So purple is making a return for the color of the year for 2023, representing wellness and digital escapism. So restorative rituals are becoming a top priority for consumers who want to protect and improve their mental health. And Digital Lavender will really connect this focus on well-being, offering a sense of stability and balance. So studies actually suggest that the power of meditation is up to 10 times greater when practiced under purple light. Research also suggests that colors... I'll wait for this. Research also suggests that colors with a shorter wavelength, such as Digital Lavender, evoke calmness and serenity. So it's already a color that's really embedded in digital culture. We expect this imaginative hue to converge across our virtual and physical realms. So our first palette here is looking at the women's eyewear category. So Digital Lavender is a really gender-inclusive color that is already established in the youth market. And we expect it's going to broaden into all fashion product categories by 2023. So its sensorial quality makes it ideal for these self-care rituals, healing practices, and wellness products. And a focus on well-being sees energetic brights really step up for spring/summer, ready to boost moods and reflect the growing consumer desire for restorative and pleasurable colors. Then for men's, we're looking at pastels are having a really important role this season, aligning with these soft masculinity themes and driving, again, this gender-inclusive collections. So mineral tones are really desaturated and are centered around the key color of digital lavender. So tapping into themes of restorative wellness, we have paired digital lavender with softer gray tints of purple and restorative jade greens for that really complementary combination. Then we have luscious red. So luscious red heralds the return of stimulating and digitized brights. So red is a really powerful color that can raise our heart rates and tap into themes of desire, passion, and empowerment. And this particular hue has a real lightness to it that feels immersive and hyper-real, again, making it perfect for that physical and digital products and experiences. So our first palette here, we're really using Luscious Red's emotive power to engage and connect with your customer, either as a carefully placed accent or as a singular hue for that maximum impact. So embrace the boldness of this red and use it to heighten the senses. So dopamine-inducing brights signal the importance of joyful, feel-good, energy-boosting colors, ideal for amplifying the shift towards the digital. These hedonistic colors will work well as well, of course, in virtual worlds. Then for men's, we're looking at the classic combination of red and blue, which refreshes our mid-tone primary colors for the new season. So creating a comforting yet familiar palette, this is ideal for updating core and contemporary collection essentials. So this can definitely be used as more of a monotone look that can work in matte or glossy finishes, and then use the optic white here as a pop of a highlight color. Then we have our earthy color of the season, which is Sundial. So organic, naturally derived colors will remain really important as consumers reconnect with the countryside. So with a rising interest in craft, community, sustainability, and generally just more balanced lifestyles, earthy yellow tones such as Sundial have a much stronger resonance. So this wholesome yellow can actually be naturally sourced from food waste, plants, and minerals, connecting to this idea of the slow living movement. So Sundial is a really versatile yellow that can be used for multiple product categories. Its saturated yet earthy quality makes it suitable for a wide range of accessories that can be worn from day to night. So play with texture, play with finishes here, and shine to elevate or ground this tone, and use it as a single tone or pair with neutrals or other warm seasonal brights for impact. Then in men's, we're really looking back to the carefree hedonism of the 70s. The retro vacation looks continue to inspire these resort-ready collections in eyewear with the key color of Sundial. So use this mixed palette of saturated and grinding tones to invigorate perennial looks and occasion assortments. The combination of Sundial and Tranquil Blue really driving this newness and innovation across eyewear styles in men's. Then our fourth key color is Tranquil Blue. So blues, particularly these mid-tone blues, will remain important for spring-summer 23. So Tranquil Blue is a mid-level hue that connects to sustainable values, and it has a real lightness and a clarity to it that calls to mind the elements of air and water. And it represents this idea of stillness and tranquility, which consumers will certainly be seeking to counterbalance these overwhelming emotions. So already emerging in the premium women's wear market, this color will resonate across all categories as a contemporary update to the mid-century blues. So as a saturated mid-tone, it can be applied in large proportions to make a bit more of a bold statement, but it can also be softer when paired back with pastels or brown grounded neutrals. And with wellness remaining a design priority, restorative and sunny colors take center stage. And this is influenced by health and self-care spaces, playful forms, and nature-powered fruit materials. So evolve mindful pastels into energized tones, focusing on the key color of Tranquil Blue and other aquatic pops of blue. Then our final key color is verdigris, maybe my personal favorite. So verdigris is a really saturated color that takes its name from the greenish pigment formed on oxidized copper. And it sits somewhere between a green and a blue. And it really signals this shift towards invigorating digitized shades. So this color is really infused with nostalgia, harking back to 1980s sportswear and outdoor apparel. And going forward, we really expect verdigris to be reinterpreted as a progressive, youth-led bright. So this color is already really emerging within the fashion market, and we expect it to have a much broader appeal by 2023. So use verdigris as a transseasonal update for teal, relevant for all product categories. Its bold quality also makes it great for driving engagement on social channels and across marketing campaigns. And as consumers' confidence returns, green tones are beginning to shift towards these brighter and richer shades, which are combined with these calming, desaturated, and warmer fruity hues. Then our final palette for today. So we're looking at saturated greens that are a really important color direction as nature and the outdoor boom continue to inform restorative color choices. So this palette also highlights the growing importance for sustainable color, connecting the consumer with naturally derived shades. So create confident color combinations to reflect this hedonism post-pandemic, allowing for real experimentation within men's eyewear styles. So just some key takeaways to leave you with today. So number one, change your perspective on waste. Collaborate with designers who incorporate waste or upcycle to create adaptable eyewear designs and accessories. Number two is partner with farmers, manufacturers, and waste managers to find new waste for frame materials. Make sure ingredients are traceable and come certified from relevant, trusted agricultural, forestry, and soil associations. Then three, especially for metallics, minimize environmental impact by sourcing recycled and onwardly recyclable materials. So tap into certified waste streams and make sure metals are safe and non-toxic in reuse. So look to end-of-life solutions whereby products are biodegradable and can be upcycled beyond their purpose to really encourage a circular strategy. Then number four is to focus on these mood-boosting brights. So in response to the social, political, health, and economic challenges the world is facing, consumers are seeking these optimistic brights to make them feel good and feel hopeful. And then number five, something we didn't get to touch on too much today, is explore the metaverse. So we're definitely seeing a lot of new forms of self-expression flourishing here. The colors are brighter and they're punchier, and we're seeing consumers really want these colors now in the physical space as well. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed today's session, and thank you very much for your time.